Is this the appearance of a demon from a scene in Journey to the West? No, this is Chinese dabais doing disinfection work. This video shows recent disinfection and sterilization operations by epidemic prevention personnel. They enter residents' homes in Liao-Ning County, Jiangsu Province. Several staff members wearing white protective suits, called dabai in Chinese, spray disinfectant solution in various parts of the home with a sprayer. The dabais open the fridge, spray the inside with disinfectants, then dump food into a plastic bag. One can also see water stains on the floor, and the dabais keep spraying disinfectant repeatedly on the sofa and drying clothes. The video shooter said, "This is number 9 building, apartment number 402. We cooperated with the professional disinfection and sterilization squad, who entered the residents' homes for professional disinfection, and I shoot the video to record the scene as evidence for the future."
这个9号楼，这是9号楼1402户，我们配合专业消杀组入户对拟户进行消杀。我现场视频以待以后取证。
On May 10th, Liao-Ning County officials responded to the media, explaining the video circulating on the internet, saying that they disinfect the homes of positive and asymptomatic infected residents by adhering to local epidemic prevention policy.
消杀呢，就是完全的按照这个省市专家的指导意见，还有结合我们国家的第9版的消杀要求啊。
The dynamic zero-COVID policy is still being adhered to throughout China. The practice of entering residents' homes for disinfection and sterilization has been adopted by many local governments. One woman was taken to the mobile cabin hospital for isolation, while the government sent dabais to her home for disinfection. When she returned, she saw her home was like a garbage dump. Many things such as rice, cooking oil, shoes, etc. were all gone, and many things she bought were destroyed. She was so angry that she burst into tears. Another resident posted, "When I came home, I found everything in the fridge dumped out onto the floor. The floor was covered with bloody water, maggots, and flies and bugs were flying around that were hard to drive away. The house was very stinky." As early as May 2nd, at the Shanghai Municipal Government press conference, Vice Mayor Liu Duo said that the city's epidemic situation is generally good, and society-wide COVID clearance efforts has entered a critical period. Shanghai already has organized a professional force of more than 6,000 people to meet the city's disinfection and sterilization needs. At present, the average daily dispatch of disinfection and sterilization forces is about 160,000 people, with a disinfection area of about 140 million square meters, and all 13,000 residential communities in the city have been fully covered. Construction sites, office buildings, schools, parks, green spaces, and other places are all under comprehensive preventive disinfection. One may wonder how the dabais enter all the households for disinfection. According to reports, the infected residents or those with close contact are required to fill out a consent form before being moved to the isolation sites. Residents must sign and voluntarily turn in their keys under half compulsion and half deception reasonings. After the infected or close contact residents are moved to the quarantine sites, the dabais can enter their homes. They spray disinfectant on sofas, TVs, and even computers, and they recklessly dump the residents' belongings on the floor. In the case that some residents refuse to turn in their keys, these men in white protective suits would relentlessly break into homes by climbing onto water pipes and air conditioner supports from outside of the building. On May 10th, Shanghai Changning District's official WeChat public account released a news report saying that at the press conference of Shanghai Epidemic Prevention and Control, the deputy head of the Shanghai Environmental Remediation and Disinfection Task Force, Jin Chen, introduced that carrying out indoor disinfection is an important part of the overall prevention and control of the epidemic. The Disease Control Department have developed standards and procedures. It is required that disinfection work should be carried out in places where positive infected people live. A netizen with the anonym of Sister 13 posted, "Those women who used to be busy looking for all kinds of supplies through group buying are busy now looking for guides to safekeeping valuables. They are worried that their homes could be entered for disinfection once they are identified as virus close contacts and pulled away to the quarantine sites. What we can hardly understand is that you will be served a free house disinfection service, regardless of whether you are tested positive or not. She also wrote in the post, when a healthy, safe family that has been through 35 nucleic acid tests and 21 antigen tests, all test results are negative and the family members have been staying at home for more than 50 days, while still being required for indoor disinfection, we don't really need to care for the ingredients of the disinfectant liquid, whether it's hypochlorous acid, hydrogen peroxide, quaternary ammonium salt, or DDVP, even if it's boiled water, honey solution, pearl milk tea, or Coca-Cola, all of these don't matter anymore. Because from the moment these people enter our homes, we are as illusory as the so-called private property we're trying to protect. Perhaps we are just a set of codes, a binary permutation, some kind of living representation of some carbon organism to them. May 12th, Liao-Ning Province, Dandong City, the Epidemic Prevention and Control Command held a mobilization meeting and gave the order that disinfection work and epidemic prevention work must proceed in parallel. The official Dandong WeChat account issued an announcement on the same day, saying that terminal disinfection must be carried out on the residents before the recovered person returns home. The owner of the household must be informed before the terminal disinfection is carried out, and the community personnel must obtain a key or combination to the door so as to enter the home. If the home cannot be entered by normal means, the professional staff will take the technical measures to unlock the door to enter the home. Doors will be relocked after the disinfection. According to the team in charge of disinfection in Dandong, the scope of disinfection includes indoor air, environmental services such as floors and walls, furniture surfaces such as tables and chairs, toys, electrical appliances, especially refrigerators and frozen foods, switches, door handles, and other frequently contacted areas, such as meal drinking utensils, clothing, bedding, and other household items used by patients, and bathrooms. Disinfection personnel will professionally disinfect bed sheets, covers, pillowcases, and other personal household items and seek the opinion of the homeowners, or dispose of them as medical waste, or keep them for cleaning after the owner returns home. The unopened food in the refrigerator will be kept after disinfection, and the rest of the food will be disposed of as medical wastes. Current affairs commentator Zhang Tianliang said that home is actually the last refuge for people to maintain their privacy. If homes can be accessed by everybody, you will have zero sense of security, and you will have zero privacy. The CCP is destroying people's private property in the name of epidemic prevention, trampling on people's privacy and the dignity of their lives. Teng Biao, a senior human rights lawyer and visiting professor at the University of Chicago Center for Human Rights, told Radio Free Asia that the act of disinfection officers entering and disinfecting people's homes all over China has no legal basis, and it violates the current constitution, criminal law, and public security penalty law. It is a complete invasion of citizens' home rights, personal rights, and property rights. Tong Zhiwei, a law professor at East China University of Political Science and Law, said in a social media post on May 8th that there is no law in China that authorizes any organization or individual to force residents to leave their homes by surrendering their home keys, allowing public officials to enter their homes for disinfection. It is also illegal to forcibly send people to quarantine centers for isolation and forcibly enter a home for disinfection. Tong's article was immediately blocked by the authorities, and his social accounts, including his Weibo account, were also banned by the authorities. His Weibo account displays this user is temporarily banned for violating community conventions. In light of top officials of the CCP treating the dynamic Zero COVID as a political movement, officials at all lower levels will overact and take more extreme precautionary measures as a means of making political stance and show loyalty to their superiors, thus showing their support for the political core of Xi Jinping, who is at the top of the Communist Party. Anyone who refuses to act this way will risk losing their official position. People's lives and property are the least of their concerns. This logic is manifested in the disinfection measures, and then come the following scenes. Dandong City sent fire trucks to disinfect the roads. The whole road became white where the fire trucks passed. Dabais are disinfecting the road in a huge parade. People waiting for nucleic acid testing also need to be disinfected first. The airfield ground also needs to be disinfected. Residents from a neighborhood in Beicai town of Pudong New District of Shanghai reported that the neighborhood committee started distributing disinfectant pills on May 9th, and residents were told through loudspeakers to drop 10 pills to their home sewer pipes every day. The resident also told the mainland media reporter that in the early morning from May 13th, each manhole was poured with 5 to 6 bottles of disinfectant in the public neighborhood area. They did not receive any notice in advance to shut the doors and windows, as was also the case in other 2 neighborhood areas close by. The reporter also learned from the hotline of Beicai town that there are many community residents from a number of districts called to report the situation of randomly spreading disinfectant pills. The hotline, however, could not solve any problems except collecting the reports. As you can see from the photos taken by the residents, the neighborhood committee is distributing disinfectant bubbling tablets with trichloroisocyanuric acid as the main active ingredient. Its effective chlorine content is 45 to 55% weight per weight. A physician of infectious disease told a reporter, for home disinfection, we should use chlorine dioxide, which is non-toxic, less irritating, and less corrosive, and is the most ideal, efficient, and safe disinfectant. Although trichloroisocyanuric acid is a highly effective disinfectant, its end product, trichloromethane, is a carcinogenic substance and is generally not used in home disinfection. Vehicles and dabais spraying disinfectants in large areas and at high intensity are seen everywhere in many areas of China. The large amount of disinfectants, whether sprayed in residents' homes or on roads and parks, eventually will enter the environment. There's not enough scientific research to support the effectiveness of disinfectant spraying in the control of new coronaviruses, especially the mysterious Omicron variant. People are simply following instructions from their superiors and routinely make determined moves to support the top officials of the CCP, just to please and satisfy their leaders psychologically. Of course, the disinfectants sprayed is a dangerous chemical, and the main ingredient is still chlorine as talked about earlier. These disinfectants will end up in the natural environment, in rivers, in groundwater, and eventually in the tap water that people drink. So the people are the ones who suffer in the end. However, the companies that produce the disinfectant will reap huge profits once again.